Welcome everybody back to the Homestuck Epilogues Let's Read. My name is Brodemus. This is all for YouTube because I need to. The VODs things are getting a little funky, and when I do these split recordings, I have like two intros going at the same time, or at different points in this. So we are starting Candy. I guess I should put a tweet out for this, huh? Like, hey, we're starting up the Let's Read. Less sarcastic than that, I suppose. Let me go ahead and just copy this real quick. All right. Hades is done for now. Tulip's leaving, apparently. Moving over to read some more. Wow, I can't fucking type. Homestuck Epilogues. Come join if, you know, if you like this, and then, grab a GIF of something. Homestuck. What do we got for Homestuck GIFs? What the, it can't be tamed. That's pretty funny. Let's do that one. Some of your media failed to load. All right. All right, fine. There we go. We'll do this one. It's equally funny. All right, let's get started, shall we? So we're on Candy 9. I don't remember what's happening. There's Roxy and John are going on a date. Gamzee's being fucking weird about it though, and with this whole redemption arc that he's claiming to have happen. There's no presidential race, or at least I don't think so. Dirk's freaking out because everything's canceled. Dave and Carcat are just hanging out. We had a really uncomfortable conversation with Jade. So let's get started. Candy 9.
Aren't you guys happy to get out of the house for once?
Jade's tail swishes back and forth under her striped skirt as she takes a great big sniff of the fresh outside air. It's early evening on the outskirts of the Troll Kingdom. One by one, neon bright windows are lighting up on the hives in the distance. Carcat is still shielding his eyes against the dying strains of the sunset. His shoulders are scrunched up so tight that his cheeks disappear into his turtleneck. I need to switch over the fucking, channel description. Hold on. I know what I'm doing. Shush. Edit stream info. Brodemus reads the Homestuck Epilogues. I don't remember what part we're on, so I'm gonna leave that empty for now. More Homestuck Candy. Homestuck. Blip, 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 blip. Gotta go. Later, Pen. Hope you had a good time. Have a good one. Voice acting. Comics. Reading aloud. Done. Alright, cool. Now we're done with all the fucking... fucking house cleaning. Let his cheeks disappear into his turtleneck. No, actually, I don't get what's so great about it. I can see the same bullshit from the comfort of my house. Check it out. A giant billboard of Jake English complete with a gyrating mechanical ass. What a totally unnecessary thing to shove right into my gander bulbs. Definitely couldn't have lived without seeing that. Dude, okay, don't pretend you don't spend at least 15% of your day ogling Jake's ass on television anyway. In fact, you're doing it right now. Well, I can't help it, Dave. It's right fucking there. Oh my god, are the mechanical glutes on that billboard actually padded with plush to make them more lifelike? Yeah, see, crazed fans kept climbing the billboards to cop a feel, so Dirk designed the second run of them to have an accurate recreation of Jake's butt density. He did what? It's wild, dude. It's like exactly spot on. Wait, holy fuck, have you actually touched Jake's ass? I mean, not necessarily on purpose, but who hasn't? Like, I wouldn't say it's so much that I touched his ass. It's more like his ass copped a feel of my sweaty palm one time, and my poor fingers haven't been the same since. Sometimes I wake up from a fevered sleep and find my reluctant groping hand huddled in the corner of my bed all shaking and shit. The mind represses, but the body remembers. I've thought about taking my hand to a psychologist, but I don't think the little guy is ready to talk about it yet. Anyway, have you seriously never touched it? I haven't! Not even by accident, like brushing by in a crowded elevator? No, I don't spend a lot of time standing in elevators with Jake fucking English. Or for that matter, doing much of anything with the idiot, as you well know. What I'm hearing is you've tragically never touched his ass, and it's a bit of a sore subject with you. Is that why you're so obsessed with it? Do you want to touch it? Shit can be arranged, my dude. Here, I'll text Dirk right now. I bet I can pencil you in to cop a feel sometime next week. No, I don't want to. Put your phone the fuck away. We are never having a play date with Dirk and Jake again. Especially not one arranged for the express purpose of assaulting one of them. Dude, Jake lives for this shit. It's not assault if his ass is begging for it. Wait, wow, that sounded bad. Let's strike that one from the record. Anyway, it's no problem. He literally will be delighted to hear you want to spend time with him for some insane reason. Stop texting right now! Karkat tries to tear Dave's phone out of his hand, but Dave simply levitates several inches off the ground to hold it just out of jumping distance. Jade, pouting a bit, glides in between them and uses her space powers to teleport Dave's phone out of the center of his traumatized palm and into the pocket of her sweater.
Hey, can we focus here? Jake's ass isn't the one you two should be talking about right now.
Oh my god, Jade, do you ever fucking stop? I don't care about your ass either. I've seen it about as many times as I've seen Jake's. The novelty is worn off, assuming there even was much to begin with. Jade leers at the boy, who may have just implied her ass was nothing to write home about. Her canines are longer and sharper than a normal human's, making her grin seem more predatory in nature, especially when she wants it to be. Karkat shivers at the sight of it.
That's not what I'm talking about.
Jade grabs Karkat's right hand, and then Dave's left one, and she begins to pull them toward each other. Both boys recoil, but she is much stronger than them. Jade, come on, what are you... She's doing it. She's making it happen.
This is a date, dummies.
No, stop. Dude. Karkat makes a fist so tight that his nubby fingernails pinch his skin. Dave does the opposite. He makes a flat palm and raises it as if to stop traffic.
No, let me show you. You have to turn it flipwise.
She turns Dave's hand so that it's cupping Karkat's angry little fist in his palm. When she pries Karkat's fingers open finally, they snap close around Dave's almost automatically. Karkat's eyes go a little light bulb-like. Dave's gone pale and a bit sweaty. Jade claps, then makes a rectangle with her thumbs and forefingers, framing her hand holding Bessie's at the center of it. She's taking a picture with her brain right now, Dave and Karkat being all shy and intimate with the romantic backdrop of a brilliant twilight between them. A pretty portrait. Put her in the middle of it and it's a work of art. Just what she wants the rest of her life to be. After all, where would these two pitiful beta boys be without her?
See, I don't mind at all. I would never try to break up what you two have. I'm just trying to make it better.
With a satisfied smile, Jade dips under their arms and hooks her hands around either waist, pulling Dave and Karkat up flush against her. Their fingers remain entwined behind her back. She begins walking them down the ridge of the hill, beaming brighter than the first stars in the sky.
See, isn't this perfect? It could be like this all the time, you know. The three of us in every combination, or whatever combinations you two are comfortable with. Positions, too.
Dave has gone catatonic. Karkat's just as quiet, but it's a quiet that's as loud and alarmed as his actual voice. He's got his head turned away from the situation he's been forced into, as far as it will go. He's concentrating so hard on looking elsewhere that he trips over a rock and is only saved by Jade picking the three of them up, fucking hell, I can't read it, off the ground as she takes flight. Karkat's legs flail when his feet go out from under him. Ah, don't do that! You know I fucking hate that! Jade sets them back on the ground, cackling like the witch she is. Karkat still won't look at her. She stops laughing abruptly, sensing that her plan isn't going as well as she'd hoped. She views the two boys as a broken electrical circuit, and herself as the conductor between the two charged points. She just needs to maneuver it into the correct configuration, like she did with their hands. She does a few quick calculations in her head, refusing to give up on her assumption that relationship issues can be solved the same way math problems can.
Oh, don't worry, Karkat, there's nothing to be scared of. We'll take care of you. Right, Dave?
Dave doesn't answer. She answers for him by leaning down and planting a dry, affectionate kiss on Karkat's cheek. He yelps and leaps away like he's been scalded by a burning iron, liberating himself from the deeply uncomfortable hug triad. Okay, that is it. I am drawing a fucking line here in the sand right here and now. Jade, you will cease this endless violation of my person with your mouth, fingers, and occasionally your fucking tail. I am not a piece of meat that you can brutally and viciously molest whenever you're bored.
Brutally and viciously?
Alright, it's possible I'm overreacting, but that's my fucking right, as a free and autonomous person with a certain degree of fundamental bodily sovereignty endowed to him by the gods of motherfucking consent.
Sigh.
But I hope you understand what I'm getting at here, which is that I want you to stop doing shit like kissing me without asking permission first.
Karkat, you're absolutely right. But I couldn't agree more, with you on issues of consent, as everyone who's gotten to know me well enough is perfectly aware. But I'm not the one who kissed you, silly.
What? Jade covers her mouth, coquettishly, and winks.
It was Dave!
Dave turns around, shoulders going rigid and eyes popping open like he's just awoken from one of the terrible sweaty nightmares he was projecting onto his hand earlier. What?
You kissed Karkat, finally!
No, I didn't. Why would I? Dave hesitates. Jade is giddy with anticipation. With anticipation. She couldn't possibly look more pleased by her own handiwork. I have no idea what you're talking about. I would never. You're whack, Jade. I'm not.
Whack?
Why would I kiss Karkat? I've never even once thought about kissing Karkat. How would you even fucking do it? He's so petite. I'm what? You're like, okay, yeah, I'm gonna admit that was a weird thing to say and has got dick all to do with your kissability. God damn it, can we stop talking about this yet? What I mean is, like, how could somebody kiss this guy? Like, anybody. When his teeth are so... When my teeth are fucking what? Dude, they're like huge and not always in your mouth. So, like, how would a guy get his tongue in there? Tongue! Karkat begins hyperventilating and momentarily forgets his beef with Jade long enough to lean on her to prevent himself from toppling over. You'd have to be really careful to, like... I mean, if you were intended to kiss Karkat, I mean, it's not like I've put any thought into this, but you'd have to be so careful, like, just so totally gentle in your approach to it, because he's so, enough, cease, I command you, you know, like this. I don't know, I'm just spitballing. This is literally the first time the thought is, like, ever popped in my head, but upon earnest reflection, I don't know if I'm up to the task. Dave's mouth hangs open a bit. His gaze flits from Karkat to Jade and back again. His palms are wet, but his mouth are dry. Arms weak. Oh, wait, knees weak. Arms spaghetti. We're not. Dave's mumbling protest, close to a stop. Actually, you know what? I don't have time for this. Peace, dudes. Dave always the fuck out of there, flash typing between 1 second to the next, disappearing 30 seconds into the future with the gusto of a piece of garbage flying into the fucking sun. Jade stares after him, blinking at the glare of the afterimage he left behind. It's a glimmering slice of ultraviolet that only she can see. It lingers in the unstable particles between the air. She huffs and puts her hands to her hips, or on her hips.
How? Wow, rude. Sigh. I forget sometimes how immature Dave can be. Well, Karkat, I guess it's just us. Do you still want to go split a plateau of grub spaghetti at the noodle barn?
Karkat, when she turns to address him, is staring at her slack-jawed. He takes a step back, but isn't watching where he puts his foot. His heel goes into a dip in the hill, and he goes stumbling backwards, feet overhead. Ah, fuck, Jade, would you fuck out a little help, baby? God! Jade could probably catch him. Actually, she could easily do it, but it doesn't seem like the kind of favor you should do in a fledgling kismissitude. So instead, she watches him roll all the way to the foot of the hill, knees and elbows bouncing around, all ragdolled and furious as he swears up a storm. He hits the ground back first and just lays there for a few minutes, completely owned. He watches the darkening sky with a hollow look on his face for at least an entire minute. Then he slowly pulls himself to his feet and brushes the brambles off his pants. He points up the hill at Jade and shouts, "For the record, just so we're both clear, this is why I hate leaving the fucking house!" He absconds, limping a little and rubbing the left side of his ass, which, unfortunately for him, affords nowhere near the level of padding as Jade's legendary backside. Jade puffs out both of her cheeks and stares at him.
Well, I guess I'm eating grub spaghetti alone. Again!
Oh, they're just not good conversations. And they're so weirdly out of character. Hang on, my wife is texting me. Sorry. Excuse me. I fucking suck at texting. Just FYI. I give up. Fucking hell. All right. What do we got? We got Terezi and John now.
Where even are you? And why haven't you sliced Makara in half yet? Or Makara in half yet? He smells too bad. I don't think I want to risk getting that close to him until he takes a bath. Even then, I'd rather not. As for where I am, I'm not sure you would believe if I told you. I bet I would. Okay, I'm on a date. LOL. Don't LOL at me. I can't help it. It's hilarious.
Oh, fucking, what was... Hang on.
Well. Who are you on a date with? Why don't you take a guess? Okay, it's obviously Roxy. Oh. What's wrong now? You asked me to guess, so I guessed. I'm just wondering if I was really that obvious. Yeah, John. We're not idiots. We can all do the math on this. It's not like you were going to fuck your human mom or human sister, and you are not a homosexual. Which takes Strider dick out of the equation. And Kanaya is the only girl troll left, and she lesbian married one of the 2 remaining eligible human females. Oh, and Jake is a double threat, a human dad with a human dick. So by process of elimination, of course you were going to fall in love with Roxy. Wait.
Love? Is that how John feels about Roxy? He glances around at this beautiful restaurant she's taken him to. Marble walls, a domed ceiling, alien plants growing up the scaffolding to the 2nd floor. It's lit by a cobweb of ultra-thin clear wire strung with lights so that it looks like there are fireflies suspended above in the fake night sky. It's a good place to fall in love. Probably. He turns his head to see that Gamzee has stepped outside, and now monitors the date with his face pressed against the window. He's smearing his disgusting makeup against the glass without the slightest concern for propriety. John accidentally makes eye contact with him, and Gamzee gives him a thumbs up. A chill runs down John's spine, so he goes back to his conversation with Terezi. That's right, he fucking took a picture with Gamzee and sent it to Terezi during his date with Roxy.
I'm waiting. Still waiting. Egbert, are you there, or can I go now? Yeah, I just had to think about that for a second. Do you really think I'm in love with her? How the hell would I know that? I'm not a mind reader. Oh, aren't you? I thought that's what your mind thingy powers did. No, I'm just an exceptionally good read. I'm just an exceptionally good read of people. Not that I would have to be to tell you you've been flushed for Roxy since you met her. Yeah, I guess that's true. How do you think she feels about me? If you're out on a date with her, I don't think that I'm the one you should be asking that question. I mean, would that be an okay thing to ask her? That seems kind of, I don't know, dopey.
John, you are the definition of dopey.
John, I hate to tell you this, but there's not much you could do at this point to increase your dopiness attribute. You've already pretty much maxed out all the dork stat, and I can only imagine that the positive correlation between your continued existence and the amount of sheer dweebness you emit has retained expected equilibrium at the time that I've been gone.
Fucking hell.
Jeez. You always know what to say to people in their hour of need, Terezi. I'm so glad that I decided to talk to you. You should be glad. I'm doing you a big favor as usual. The seer magnanimously descending from her mountain and deigning to give the hapless human peerless advice. Imagine me rolling my eyes super hard right now, because that's what I'm doing. Noted. But trust me, the worst thing you can do when attempting to initiate a flesh relationship is to be evasive. Roxy is actually incredibly difficult to read, but I think she's the last person who would ever try to jerk you around. She'll appreciate you being upfront. The only thing I wonder is what happened with Calliope. She seems so happy. Yeah, that's, been bothering me too, actually. Callie was actually the one who convinced me to stay. Roxy was all over me the moment I said I wasn't going. Going where? Oh, to fight Lord English. You were supposed to fight Lord English? Yeah, I guess. But you decided not to? Look, it's a long story. Actually, it's not, but that's not why I texted you. I'll tell you some other time. Right now, what I think I need to figure out is how I feel about the whole Calliope thing. I'm not afraid to ask Roxy how she feels about me, I guess, but I think that I'm afraid to ask about...
Roxy finally comes back from the restroom. Fucking hell, Jade and Teresa are gonna fucking kill me. Roxy finally comes back from the restroom. He hears her heels click-clacking on the floor and shoves his phone into his pocket in a panic. Before he can follow up on the last line of his message, he doesn't know why he does it in a panic. It's not like he's doing anything wrong. In fact, tapping away on the phone when someone leaves you alone at a table is completely and totally normal. Maybe it's just that it's kind of weird to be talking to a girl under the table while on a date with a completely different girl, no matter what his respective relationships with those two girls might be. His internal Rose voice tisks at him for having such a gender essentialist thought. He wonders if he'd feel quite as guilty if he were talking to Rose under the table instead of Terezi. Probably not, which is a whole tangle of stuff he doesn't even want to think about. He shoots Roxy a big, bright grin when she slips into her seat. She grins back. He is genuinely glad to be here. Roxy is beautiful. The restaurant is beautiful. He feels like he's fumbling at something existentially beautiful here. There's something about the way she's looking at him that makes him glad he got out of bed today. It makes him, for the first time in years, excited about the idea that the future is a thing that exists. Sorry for taking so long. I had to reapply the face. You know how it is. Actually, you probably don't, but let me tell you, makeup's a bitch. Roxy, you don't have to do all that for me. I'm basically a schlub these days. I don't care if you wear makeup or not. You're pretty either way, you know that, right? Oh, don't worry, it's not for you, LOL. But that's sweet as hell. I appreciate the sentiment. Oh, that's cool. Why do you need it then? John, you ever think about, like, gender? Not really, I guess. But I don't think girls should feel like they have to wear makeup just because they're girls.
hello, that's not what I'm getting at. What do you mean then? Are you, like what? I don't know. I don't really know what we're talking about. I don't really know either, I guess. Anyway, we don't gotta get super into it now. This isn't really the setting. I don't know if you noticed, but this place is way too fancy for me, LMFAO. I was all trying to impress you with how I'm classy as fuck, but now I feel like we're gonna have to skip out on the check. Even though we've had infinite money? Yeah! Just a feeling I get. Like, this fancy dress is a costume. Like, I'm just play acting it being a grown-up woman. Yeah, I know that feeling. What even are adults? Good question. When I was a kid, I just thought adulthood was something that happened to you automatically, I think. Fuck.
I mean, that ain't wrong.
Like, the moment I turned 18, a briefcase would appear in my hand, and I'd have it all figured out, just like my dad seemed to. I can't believe I'm 23 and still a huge loser.
I'm 27, I'm still a huge loser.
I wonder if my dad ever thought that way about himself, like he was just some big dumb kid totally messing everything up, but just trying to keep up appearances anyway. Don't say that about yourself, dummy. So, I'm a dummy, but I shouldn't call myself dumb? Oh, Holmes, you know what I meant.
Roxy runs one of her thin fingers around the inside rim of her water glass. It makes a very quiet squeaking noise that he can hear over the mumbled conversation. I feel like they should point out that John can hear over the mumbled conversation around him because they're sitting so very close. Her lashes look about twice as long in the low, pale light. They shadow her eyes so that he can't read her expression. You know, hang on, what's happened? Not a whole lot. We had another Dave Carcat conversation. That was uncomfortable. We're continuing our date with Roxy and John, and it's weird, but it's still very cute.
You know, I didn't even think, I didn't even know any adults when I was a kid, so I got nothing except the legends of how my universes rose and Dave died, I guess. Well, that's not exactly a useful example in this situation. I don't know. I think sacrificing yourself to take down a brutal clown dictatorship is a pretty good life lesson to internalize in any situation. Although, yeah, God forbid. But, I mean, my idea of a date for the longest time was drinking a whole bottle of wine alone while crying in front of my laptop screen. Oh, same actually. Minus the wine and the computer screen. Just you and your brain contemplating the infinite loneliness of singular consciousness in a vast, cold universe. Something like that. So, I guess neither of us are very good at this, huh? That's cool with me. Zero expectations means we got nowhere to go but up. I'll toast to that.
Welcome back, Pan. John lifts his glass as a cute and cliche thing to do, expecting no reciprocation. But she laughs and actually humors him. The glasses clink together clumsily, and water gets all over the complimentary breadsticks. She starts laughing harder. Oh, John, why didn't we do this sooner? I love spending time with you. You know, it's weird to say, but no one else has ever made me feel like this. For some reason, those words make the pit in his stomach grow. He lets out a nervous giggle. His arms start to shake, so violently that he gets even more water on his free breadsticks. Oh boy, he's sweating under the collar. It's a panic, like what he felt when Roxy almost caught him texting Terezi under the table, except in reverse. What about Calliope, he thinks. John can't tell what Roxy is thinking. She's so warm and open and inviting, but when John looks into her eyes, it's almost like staring into a void. Oh, what the fuck? Look behind you. He whips his head around to see Dave? He's running down the street, looking back and forth like a hunted man. He spots John and freezes for a moment, obviously trying to compose himself. No one goes still quite like a Strider. He brushes past Gamzee, who is still glued to the window to spy on the date, and swaggers into the restaurant. The look on his face seems to suggest he's about to throw up, but he keeps it together. His entrance is so smooth that all the dining care patients in the vicinity immediately stop talking and stare at him as he glides to the table. Dave sets his hand just in front of the free breadsticks and angles a look at John through the panels of his shades. It looks like he hasn't slept, but it's hard to tell with Dave. He's out of breath. Hey, dude. And Roxy? Hey, dudes. Sorry to imply that dude wasn't a gender-neutral term before. It totally is. Anyone can be a dude if they really want. That's part of the beauty of living in this brand new world with none of the baggage our old world had, like gender and sexuality and relationships only involve a very specific number of people. Dave, you okay? Yeah, totally. When am I not okay? Pee often, actually. Nah, I'm fine. There's absolutely nothing strange or awkward going on in my life at all. Unrelated to anything I just said, John, I gotta talk to you for a second.
Okay, go ahead.
More alcohol. I mean, can you really get a hangover if you're just always drunk? There's a song, fuck, the Jolly Rogers sing it. I can't remember what it's called. Damn it. I think it's called, or maybe it's not it might actually be Pat Raskett. I think it's called The Pub Doctor. You should try listening to it. It's about, there's a part in it where they talk about how a guy has a hangover. He's like, here's some whiskey. Call me in the morning.
Okay, go ahead.
No, I mean like outside, in private, with no one else around.
You sure you're okay?
Yeah, Mom, I'm fine. Sorry, that was me being sarcastic about how you're all worried over me when I'm just ice fucking cold levels of cool at the moment. Not referencing that you're my literal mom, which I know is all kinds of awkward every single time I do it. Which is a lot, I guess.
Oh, man, I don't think it's awkward at all.
Oh, cool, me neither. Mom?
Roxy's right. You seem kind of off right now.
No, I just had a sudden need for a bro down. Just an unquenchable thirst to be showered in a flash storm of righteous bro juice.
Yikes.
Gotta guzzle the shit out of it like Gatorade after a sports match. Help me out here. My bro electrolytes are low. John, just come out. Just come on, it's important.
Yeah, sure. Roxy, are you fine waiting here by yourself for a while? Yeah, I'll just be here eating breakfast since we didn't actually order dinner. Cool, I'll be right back.
Dave shoves his hand in his pockets and leads John out into the cool evening air. Gamzee offers a double thumbs up as they walk past him, which John fiercely ignores. John does, however, check his phone, subtly, but a little desperately. He left Terezi hanging in the middle of a sentence, and he's got to admit, as much fun as he's been having with Roxy, there's an annoying little voice screaming at him underneath everything else he's done and said tonight that desperately needs to know what else Terezi had to say. Behind Dave's back, as he leads the way, John swipes the screen to catch up with her answers, smiling conspiratorially. Oh, we're continuing this. I thought we were going to jump over to Jade or Jane or some bullshit. Candy 11. Dave grabs the sleeve of John's tux in his sweaty palm, and the two of them fly to the top of the nearest tower. John glances at him en route, and the look on Dave's face strikes him as that of a man condemned to death. The stars stand out along the skyline, so bright in this new world that the outline of every constellation is crisp and clear, even in the middle of the city. Dave cups his hands over his knees and stares straight ahead. Yo, John, what do you think about me and Karkat?
You two are pretty cute together, I guess.
Together. I need you to be way more specific here.
Oh, okay. I guess I'd have to say that you're both cute individually when you're with each other, and you make cute friends, which is why you're cute together. Something about it just works. I feel like I'm saying cute a lot here. For the record, I don't mean you're cute as an individual. No offense. Alone, you're just Dave. But yeah, together, you guys are cute.
Together. You mean like a couple? Dave says this so neutrally that John has no idea how to read it, despite having years of practice reading Dave's many neutral tones.
Yes, that's exactly what I mean.
Why?
Didn't I just explain it? Good friends make good partners. You're similar in all the right ways and different in all the even more right ways. You do balance each other out and keep each other from going off the rails, like when you were kids.
Huh.
You were both kind of crazy when we were kids. Again, no offense.
That's not what I was saying about.
Oh.
I was saying because that sure was a coherent Egbertian thesis on the state of the Dave Cat situation.
Well, I've thought about it that way for a long time. I think it's what everyone else thinks too.
I don't know. If I'd been thinking about it that way, I wouldn't be in the mess I'm in right now.
You're in a mess?
Yeah, there's a metric fucking ton of shit about to come down on me because I dragged my heels on doing some serious self-reflection.
Is this just some more stuff about being gay?
Maybe, yeah. Okay, definitely, yeah. It's 110% about being gay.
I thought you'd already worked all that stuff out.
Turns out it takes a long time to figure out your sexuality after childhood filled with repression and abuse.
Dave?
I mean, yeah, I woke the hell up to my inner potential for gayness in a big way, but then I just kind of pressed the snooze button and rolled back over because we kind of had to fight all those jacks and also create society.
Holy fucking shit, there's a gay snooze button?
Yeah, man, there's a gay snooze button. Wow. When I was having my gay cool boy awakening, it wasn't a full no homo, but it was at least a quarter no homo. If I hadn't done that, then instead of talking to you about this, I'd be at home right now. Kissing Karkat, probably.
I don't get this, Dave. Am I your gay confessor or something? You don't need my blessing to go kiss Karkat. In fact, I was pretty sure you were already kissing Karkat.
Nope.
In that case, as the Lord Pope of Dave's fully awakened gaydom, I give you my blessing to immediately leave and rectify that as soon as possible. Go now, my child, and kiss Karkat right on the lips.
Okay, as much as I appreciate how weird a thing that was to say, it's not that simple.
I might not exactly be the expert, but kissing seems pretty easy, Dave. I'm sure it gets more complicated in the later stages, obviously, but I think you can figure out how to get your lips on his without much trouble.
No, I mean, Dave makes a couple truly useless hand gestures. In the greater fabric of our weird incestuous social group, it might be the wrong move, I think.
How so?
Because Jade. John bites his lip. Oh boy, that's a complicated problem, all right? He loves his sister, but she's developed a bad habit of sometimes approaching delicate social situations with all the grace of an elephant stumbling around in a dark room.
Right. I almost managed to forget that she was trying to fuck you and Karkat.
Dave snaps his head around to stare at John in shock. Wait, you knew about that?
Yeah?
Did you not? Of course I knew about it. I was looking at the whole thing through several complicated layers of conscious denial, but I knew. It's just that you, never leave your house.
Well, it probably helps that Jade literally said the words to me, and I may be paraphrasing here, but, hey, John, I'm gonna fuck Dave and Carcat.
What the fuck? She said that to you? What did you say?
I don't know, it was a while ago. Probably it was a bad idea, but I thought it was kind of obvious. She's always had a crush on you, Dave.
Yeah, I know. He sighs and hangs his head, leaning forward with his elbows crossed. Go away. Go away, notification. He sighs and hangs his head, leaning forward with his elbows crossed over his thighs. The angle he's at gives John a good look at his eyes, which are boring a deep, miserable hole to the center of the earth right now. That's why I think I should give it a try, I guess.
Give what a try? Dating Jade?
Yeah, and Carcat.
Oh man, Dave. I don't know, that sounds like it could really blow up in your face.
Yeah, that's why I'm kind of freaking out right now, if you didn't notice.
Sorry, dude, it's just, do you even like Jade?
Of course I do, she's one of my best friends.
No, I mean, do you like her?
Guys, you're 23. Oh my god, John, you're 23 years... You're 23 years old. Can you at least pretend to talk like a grown man?
Okay, Dave, God, are you in love with Jade?
Dave doesn't answer. His silence says a lot, John thinks.
Are you in love with Carcat?
That's a big fucking question. That's the biggest fucking question that ever got asked. It's like the Paleolithic megaphone of questions. Like, it's so familiar, but your eyes just glaze over in denial because it's too fucking big. Why did megalodon sharks need to have such big jaws, John?
To eat smaller sharks?
I've never been so fucking terrified by a question in my entire life. Seriously, my heart is pounding so hard right now that I feel like I'm gonna hurl.
Well, doesn't it answer your question?
Nah, because it's not like I feel nothing for Jade. In fact, I feel a whole lot of things for her. Too many to just tell her off after all this time. I mean, she spent all those years alone on that ship, and I know she missed me. And then Dave Sprite died, or turned to the fucking Dave Epida, and I was never clear exactly on what happened there. And God knows he didn't make any attempt to clear the fucking air with her. But when I think about it, neither did I. So maybe I'm just a huge asshole who's been leading her on for like a whole goddamn decade at this point. And if I have been, don't I owe it to her at least try?
If that's your logic, Dave, then haven't you been leading Carcat on too? Doesn't he deserve the same chance? I mean, if you think it's the kind of decision you can lay on another person like this, why don't you just flip a coin?
He tilts his face so he can give John a look. The corner of his his lip quirks ambiguously. Have you been talking to Terezi? Damn, I thought she ghosted everyone.
Not me, I guess.
Huh. Anyway, I know you thought that sounded like a totally cool thing to say, but I don't really think you can grasp the full metaphysical implications of whatever you're quoting there. Dave sits up and leans back on his palms, his voice sounding lighter in a subtle, almost ephemeral way now that the subject's changed to something as easy as metaphysics. He catches John's gaze and makes a rolling gesture with his hand, miming the way a practiced magician would flick a coin over his thumb. Do you know what a coin flip is? Like, universally, I mean, in the grand scale of all this time-space infinite string theory bullshit we're always dealing with.
Of course! It's like when you know that you've already made a decision you're reluctant about and need an outside force to show you how you really feel.
No, dude, that's dumb. You should know this because you've done the retcon thing.
What does that have to do with flipping coins?
Okay, so every time you flip a coin, you're creating an alternate timeline, right? One where it lands heads and one where it lands tails. But while the coin is flipping, both possibilities exist simultaneously.
But what if you knew for sure you'd make the same decision no matter which side landed up?
You can't.
So, it's like the coin never lands then?
Sure.
Then if you dated both Jade and Carcat, it'd be like you're winning the Schrodinger's cat paradox.
Yeah, it's another theoretical paradox that I think, you gotta read up on a bit more there, buddy.
I probably won't, but okay.
Fair enough. But yes, metaphysics aside, me dating both Jade and Carcat at the same time literally is the issue at hand, and it is that with which I currently and explicitly struggle.
Yeah, sure seems that way.
So...
I don't know, Dave. This is all just... It doesn't sound right to me.
What the fuck? Man, I thought the fucking relationship issues in Homestuck proper were a fucking mess. John thinks about the speech Rose gave him that morning on her couch about canon veracity and the validity or non-validity of subjective actions the further they get away from the intended sequence of events. Something about... pillars? What is essential, true, and relevant. He remembers those 3 words, but no other contextual remarks which bind them. That conversation seems so very long ago now.
I mean, it doesn't sound... canon?
Ugh, not you two. Rose is always going on about canon. I don't give a fuck about canon.
Then what do you give a fuck about?
Dave sighs and runs a hand through his hair. Doing the right thing, I guess.
This doesn't seem hard to me at all, Dave. Go home right now and tell Carcat how you feel.
Look, I can't. If I did that, I would be like
what, Dave? Like you'd be really happy and Carcat would also be really happy?
I'm not explaining myself right. I need to Dave staggers uneasily to his feet, staring way past John like he's looking into the infinity of his own soul right now. John's never seen him so scared, and it's over what seems like a pretty easy choice as far as John's concerned. It sure isn't easy for him, though. John guesses this is what it means to be a friend. It means being the guy who understands when easy isn't actually that easy. I have to talk to Dirk, I think.
Okay.
John wonders when talking to Dirk has fixed anything for anyone. It's a good fucking point. He's about to ask what exactly it is he needs to talk to Dirk about, but then remembers what he saw when he went back to fetch Gamzee's fridge in the medium. Dirk and Dave hugging on the edge of the roof, sharing something private and mysterious. The sort of thing that can only happen when between two people whose personalities are cracked in the same way. It's not something John's ever had, so it's not something he can understand. An uncomfortable silence lingers between the two of them. Before John can fill it with some stupid words, he hears Roxy calling up to him from below. He pops his head over the roof and waves at her.
What's up?
Yo, boys, not to interrupt, but we got kicked out of the restaurant for not ordering.
What, really? What's even the point of being famous if that can happen?
LMAO, I know, right? Told you I wasn't classy enough for the joint. I got all these breadsticks, though, so we can reconvene in the park. Totes romantic. 10 minutes, what do you say?
Sounds good. I'll see you there soon.
She grins up at John with shimmering, adoring eyes. They're reflecting every star in the sky, all for him. It makes his heart do a weird somersault. It tries to flip front ways, then backwards, and ends up landing on its face instead. He's feeling too many contradictory things right now. When he turns to look at Dave again, he's practically translucent. Barely there, half out of the door emotionally. John feels like he could have done more, like his whole conversation was sand running through his fingers. It itches at the back of his head, the idea that he might have just fucked up Dave's entire life.
Sorry I couldn't help.
Nah, dude, it's not your fault. Dave gives him a light bro punch in the arm and tries to smile. Enjoy your date. What the fucking... Is this just a plot? Is this just a plot? These kids just having... These fucking characters having unresolved romantic issues from when they were fucking children? Not when they were not that. From when they were children. Candy 12. Jake wakes up from the unfamiliar feeling of a cheek on his chest and a thigh slung over his stomach. Not that waking up to limbs entwined with some fleeting dalliance was an unfamiliar sensation by any means, but this time something seems off. He's afraid to open his eyes because he can't remember the last few days. The very last thing he does remember, if any of his recollections are to be trusted, is corking open a bottle of alchemized Merlot at 9 in the morning. As one does, and then doing a brisk session of target practice, which was interrupted by... Oh fuck. Jake's eyes snap open. His ceiling looks the same as it always does, if a bit tizzy with the eye-splitting headache sending nails of pain through his skull. The gold-flecked flowers carved into the wood-paneled ceiling glitter in the morning light. Jake stares very hard at them because he doesn't want to look down and confirm his worst fears. But his worst fears are confirmed for him without him having to do anything, unfortunately, which seems par for the course.
Good morning.
Jane sits up in the bed and stretches her arm over her head. Her body is a perfect hourglass in naked profile. Jake's eyes trace the curve of her spine against his will. They linger in the dip above her hips. Her hair is tousled, and she's not wearing her glasses. Jake actually wants to catch his breath at the sight of her. It's not her attractiveness that was ever in question. It's everything else about the situation, which is the problem. Jake, what the blazes happened? She turns to face him, giggling into her hand.
Why, Jake, I would imagine that you are practiced enough at sexual congress at this point that I shouldn't have to explain it to you.
Jane, I am quite aware of my reputation, but I'm not some loose strumpet who enters into relations thoughtlessly.
Oh, lighten up.
Jane blinks and touches a hand to her collarbone, like she doesn't quite recognize herself.
Oh, dear, did you hear what I just said?
Lighten up?
It's been quite a while since I thought that way. My, it feels freeing to say. Lighten up, Jake. The election's off. The economy is stable. Dirk is probably never going to talk to us ever again, and we finally fucked.
Did we indeed fuck? Was it merely playing honky-tonky with our digits, or did we do the old, gamma whoosh? What the fuck is that word? Or even worse, the beard splitting? I feel like I know what that one is.
I don't know what any of that means, Jake, but we definitely did it all.
She crawls towards him with a goofy smile, padding along unsteadily because she can't see shit without her spectacles. Jake shoots up in bed and scuttles all the way back until his shoulders hit the frame. Something catches the corner of his eye, and he swivels his head around to see the trickster lollipop on the bedside table. It sits like evidence at a murder scene, beneath an empty bottle of vodka and far more sets of underwear than the number of people accounted for in the room. Jake says, but Jane shuts him up with a finger over his lips. She slides into his lap and settles her bottom into the space between his thighs. There's a blanket between the lurid parts of their naked bodies, but Jake cannot rightly move unless he wishes to be dearly compromised. He stutters through several objections, but Jane is plucking all his strings quite mercilessly. He feels like a snake about to be necked by a mongoose. This is awful. This is not fun. Well, what's the meaning of the lollipop? I thought we agreed never to use strict mode when we were, unsupervised.
What? The lollipop was your idea.
I must protest, Jane. That does not seem like something that I would agree to in a right state of mind.
Well, I'm not sure either of us were exactly in the right state of mind, to be honest. We, had quite a bit to drink over the course of the day, and one thing led to another.
Not to partaking in scandalous confections!
I don't know what to tell you, Jake. I'm not pulling your leg. In fact, you were the one doing the vigorous leg pulling last night.
Criminy! Jane's expression falls. She'd been feeling quite buoyed after a night of jolly, if inebriated, fun, but Jake does not seem to share her enthusiasm.
Dear me, was that innuendo a bit too much? I'm sorry, I'm not very good at this.
No, it's not that, Jane. Oh, this feels wrong. I don't want you to get the wrong idea here. You're a dear friend and I care for you deeply, but I think that what happened between us might have merely been the result of profound inebriation. You already do. Jake regrets the statement as soon as the words leave his mouth. Jane looks absolutely crushed, devastated, like Jake just ripped the rug out from underneath her entire universe.
What? Are you saying everything we did, it meant nothing to you?
That isn't what I meant. Jane stares up at him, her eyes so bright they're practically clear, like tropical water on a sunny day. She looks like girls do right before they're about to cry. Why didn't you call her girl specifically?
Jake.
Oh, how could he deny her anything? What was I even saying? I'm terribly foolish. Sure, we may have, overdone it a bit on the substance, perhaps. But you know what? To hell with it. I might not remember everything that happened last night, but I'm sure my passions wouldn't lead me astray. You've always been a lovely girl, Jane, and you've become an even lovelier woman. Why, it's a surprise it didn't happen sooner. May as well, just go with it. It's not the most rousing speech Jake has ever given, but it seems satisfactory enough for Jane. He releases a tremendously relieved sigh when Jane breaks into a smile.
Oh, Jake!
He flails when she kisses him, but this time, there's no doubt he hasn't said no. Brad, glad we got that. Glad we got to fucking experience that. Candy 13. Dave and Dirk don't talk that much about the heavy stuff. They don't need to. Dave can hear his brother's voice in his head. Not, like, literally. That would be insane. But Dave knows what his bro is like. Dirk, or a version of him, instilled in Dave a way of living and thinking that would, for better or worse, persist far beyond his first 13 years of his upbringing. And even on Earth C, it'd be kind of tough to say the dude's general overbearing demeanor wasn't sufficient to perpetuate the conditioning. So it's rare he has to guess what Dirk would even say he should do. Oh, excuse me. But when it comes to knowledge, But when it comes to the boondoggle involved with triangulating his interpersonal relationships with Jade and Karkat, Dave is shooting blanks. He has no idea what to do, no idea what to say, and for once, the ghost in his head doesn't either. Once he might have expected the end of the haunting to come as a relief, but now that he finally sits quietly in his own mind with nothing but his meager faculties to guide his hand, the silence is deafening. There's no time to waste, so he flies directly to his bro's studio. He needs this. He needs his bro to tell him what to do. Whatever issues the guy might have, Dave has always been able to count on Dirk to give him, as Jake might say, the solid dick. Dave knocks on the door, loud, but there's no answer. Nothing when he calls out Dirk's name either. Then he tries the knob, and the door swings right open. You have to mute the stream. Yeah, then go ahead. If there's a chance of that, do it. It's a real fucking Doki Doki feeling right now. Hey. Bro, are you there? You alright, boy? Still no answer. Dave lets him in. Dave lets himself in. Can't read. It's not like his bro would actually mind. They're family after all. Bro, hey. Alright, yeah, if you're not cool with suicide, back off. I don't know what's coming, but cut it out. Just take a break, come back in 10, 15 minutes. I will give a thumbs up when we're done. Oh no! Everything alright, boy? Silence throughout the studio. Dave starts flitting from room to room, checking for any signs of Dirk. Oh no! Oh no, is everything alright, boy? Safe now, okay? Oh man! Goodness. Yeah, no, you're right, dude. I shouldn't phrase that. I guess if you're comfortable reading through suicide, then we're good here. But if you're not, please take care of yourself. Oh, that's good, boy. Glad to hear it. Thanks, dude. I didn't even. That just came out that way. Ugh. Silence throughout the studio. Dave starts flitting from room to room, checking for any signs of Dirk. This is strange. The guy doesn't usually go out to do things, unless those things are actively being televised. Dude, are you like gone? I have something I really need to talk to you. Dave all but jumps out of his skin with a shriek when he turns to find the last individual in the world he ever expected or wanted to see. Hunk! Jesus, fuck! Hey, what's shaking, my man? Gamsey, what the fuck? God, I think I shit my pants. I'm sorry to hear that, my fine brother. Gamsey, what the fuck are you doing here? Did you follow me here? No, man. I've been waiting for you, hunk. Oh, that's so much better. Why the fuck are you doing that? Because I'm here to bring you the good news. The news of what? The news of me, my motherfucker. I'm here to help you get all up and redeem from your wicked sins. Put you on a real arc to salvation, honk. Oh my fucking god, what fucking sins? Where's Dirk? There's no need to worry about him. You're gonna get what's best for you. He told me that. And I'm gonna make sure his wish makes like a motherfucking miracle and gets true. Honk! Did I just walk into a horror movie? Did my bro get fucking axe murdered by a clown? Jesus Christ, don't tell me his body is down in the basement right now. You don't got any need to go and concern yourself with his mortal flesh body out here in the candy cane whirlpool beyond the infinite black wink of the wicked singularity, my ninja. A second meat and bones is one life, and one life for the next is only a means to the final totality that will damn and raise us all in brilliant apotheosis. In the one true life, we all flow from the one true pen, and every head rolls down the path of the one true hand. What the fuck did any of that mean, and are you drunk? Never mind, I don't give a shit. Out of my way, Pagliacci. Dave has had enough of this buffoon. He pushes Gamsey aside, and the clown goes absolutely flying into one of Dirk's messy workbenches. The vagrant jester ricochets off disorganized piles of scrap metal and anime paraphernalia like a Tony Hawk jackass, clipping and flopping into an unending oblivion of pain. The circus ruckus starts a vicious Rube Goldberg machine of cartoon physics, knocking every cylinder block, crusty puppet, and Japanese sword and tornado's radius off balance, and avalanching them catastrophically onto the hapless clown's torso. Dave gives only a second glance to the ludicrous pandemonium. He blows open the door to the stairwell and heads down, bracing himself for the worst. But he doesn't find Dirk in the basement either. The only thing of note is a slumped figure in the center of the storage room, covered in a thin sheet. Dave approaches and rips it off to discover... Wait, what is this? It's obviously a robot, but it's a complete mess. The form is feminine, but the head is still bald, and the face has no cover, revealing its skull-like interior. The body doesn't have any proper protective plating yet, so it's all a mess of wires and loose mechanical bits. Clearly a work in progress, but Dave can't help but wonder what exactly it is that Dirk's been working on here. Then Dave notices the note. It's carefully folded into the limp palm of the robot's hand. His heart jumps into his throat, and something in his stomach drops. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. So it's 14, is it? Should stay okay till 14. Okay, so if this is collection, okay, this is collection. Or this is the one. This is the one. All right. If you are not comfortable with suicide, back out now. All right. Epilogue 3, Candy 14. Your name is Dirk Strider, and you know what you must do. The decision was made the moment John chose his course. This world has been set on a path that you cannot tread. You stand beneath the Carapacian bell tower, poised to climb to the top. You've brought nothing with you but a long length of rope coiled in your steady fist. It is the only thing that you need. Ascend. You do not hesitate. Your legs feel impressively powerful as you begin to climb the staircase, 2 steps at a time. There is nothing of consequence but your singular task. You left a note, but you don't expect any of your friends to understand. It's not important that they do. A flip of the cosmic coin has rendered your entire life completely inessential. What could you accomplish in a dead-end existence like this? There are no stakes, no meaningful challenges, no structures or themes, only residual chemical reactions in a dying brain, a physical system's obligate compulsion to exhaust its own lingering momentum, a cockroach with its head cut off, waiting to die of thirst. Halfway up the tower, you take flight. Every second you waste here is a drain on the concept of existence itself. You whip up the hollow vertical shaft at the center of the spiraling stairs and erupt into the air beneath the bell. You land on the ledge overlooking the Carapace Kingdom below and cast a cursory glance across the landscape beneath you. Its beautiful scenery is a comical illusion of no matter to you. Get to work. Your hands move methodically, to fashion the hangman's noose. It is a gesture you have practiced well. You bunch a section of the rope into an S and loop the end of the rope around its middle, 7 wraps and you're done. You tie it off at the bottom, then tug the rope taut. The corrosion has already begun. You can feel the gears slowing, all the intricate unseen mechanisms coming unhinged from the mooring and drifting apart. Your friends might derive some sense of fulfillment from satisfying the elementary obligations of self-preservation and self-propagation, but there's nothing here for you. It doesn't matter anymore. There is a beam across the opening of the face of the bell tower that will serve as a convenient anchor for the rope. You toss the noose up over the beam and then rise to fasten the knot. You ensure that it is secure. There can be no mistakes. You touch back down on the ledge of the tower. You bring the noose over your head and pull it tight. Your choice is not between that of life and death. It is between an ignominious dissolution at the hands of entropy and one final act of relevance that can bequeath your meager energies to the cosmic well from whence they came. In a certain sense, you've never felt more so free. Kill yourself. You jump. A meaningful death would, of course, be quick. Brutal. An expeditious descent, a splash of crimson at the base of the bell tower, a body that looks otherwise intact if you don't flip it over to see the dark, mottled bruises where the fetid septic blood has begun to pool. You made certain that the rope was long enough for the velocity of your fall to immediately decapitate you. It slices through the air with a vicious whipping sound, unspooling in even silk-smooth rotations. Just as your epiphany occurred at sunset, your death must occur at sunrise to complete the Ouroboros of symbological harmonic resonance that is your personal arc. It is the very last moment of narratively consequential action that will happen in this whole barren world. The few carapacians unfortunate enough to have left their homes this early in the morning will remember this moment forever, but in reality, it lasts only a half second. The noise your cervical spine makes when it thunders is indescribably gruesome. Many of the bystanders who witness your death will later attempt to recount it, but there really are no words that can adequately express the sound someone makes when they die. It's a phenomenon that happens on 2 levels. First, there is the literal termination of organic processes, which is to say, the destruction of the meat. Then follows the dissolution of the ego, and you have quite the ego to dissolve, one that has flown so high above the forest that not only can it no longer see the trees, it cannot even conceive of trees as a material substance with objective meaning. Yours is a singularity of narcissism, an endlessly recursive existence so dense that it has no choice but to sprawl out much further than the boundaries of its person in any given universe or timeline. Once cut off from that, you become unbearably dispensable, from a purely utilitarian perspective. Killing yourself is the greatest gift you could give to this dying world, a valorous sacrifice the likes of which this place will never experience again. If your severed head could speak, it might say, "You're welcome." But even then, maybe it wouldn't. It might not care enough to do this shallow realm even that basic courtesy. We may never know. Oh, sorry, Don. Your severed head remains suspended in the loop of the noose, tight under your jaw, while your limp body bounces off the side of the bell tower and tumbles to the grass. Screams sound from below. The horrified carapacian bystanders scatter and run. Your body tumbles down the side of the hill, spraying blood from its neck in a volume that makes the foot of the tower look like the scene of a massacre. Your heart keeps beating well after you're dead. It keeps beating until every drop of blood is forced from your corpse, a sea of gore drenching the earth beneath the scene of your demise. Your body doesn't get up, and your head doesn't open its eyes. When you think so little of yourself as a moral character, any act of self-termination will result in a death that is just. All right, we're good. We're clear. We're on to 15. All right, I actually, I need to get some more water, and I need to get a snack. I'm starving. I will be right back momentarily. Please excuse me. hello. Yes, quick snack time. So how's everyone doing? I got some crackers. I got some chocolate. I can feel my my blood sugar dropping. I'm getting the sweats. I'm getting shaky. I need something in me. Yeah, no problem, Pantheos. I don't want anyone to feel like they have to sit through something that they are not comfortable with. I want to read through all of these just so I can get the full experience. But I myself am relatively I don't want to say okay with. My camera got fucked up. I don't want to say okay with because it's not something to really be okay with. It's just that I can read through these things and be relatively unaffected by it. But this goes to everybody. If you're ever uncomfortable with parts of this thing, because there are a lot of things that there are to be uncomfortable with, a lot of sex things in particular, please do not feel like you need to sit through it if you don't want to. I do really appreciate everyone that is in the chat right now also being very good about this and like helping with each other. I'm really proud of the fact that this small community that we have together is able to help each other and prop each other up like this. I'm really proud of everyone about that. I don't know why I cover my mouth when I eat on stream. Oh, man, we played Hades. We had a good time. Gonna read through Homestuck. I just want more of this. I want more of John and Roxy hanging out because they're so cute. Oh man, I'm so hungry. All I had was a bowl of cereal that I finished right before I started streaming today. Okay, I didn't have time to eat anything before the stream with all the errands I had to fucking run. Mmm. Ugh. Okay, that's a really interesting combination. Alright. Not sponsored in any way. You take some Ritz crackers and some Hershey's milk chocolate. That's a really interesting flavor combination, actually. I kind of dig it. So how was everyone's week while I finished eating my crackers? Like the child I am. Everyone have a really relatively okay week? I wonder how the election results are going. I hope everyone's like having a good time. I'm having a good time. Oh, baby! Oh, fucking hell, really? Ooh, some white hot chocolate? That sounds really good. Holy hell. Oh, man! Alright, so they're still technically counting. But I'm looking at the election results right now. Alright, sorry. So it's a school closed. Thanksgiving is well. Oh, you were damn it, so that sucks. I worked at home for like a week because 3 people in my office tested positive. So that was fun. Spent a week doing college work. That's rough, Dawn. God, I hope it's true. I want to get too optimistic, but man, I hope that's fucking true. Vibing. There's I'm just so frustrated fucking living in Florida where no one takes shit seriously. Like, my office was like, hey, we need everyone to come back in and work at the office back in June. And so it's like fucking cool, rad. I'm glad I get to fucking come back and expose myself to you, or expose my potential healthy well-being to the world. Not expose myself. That's something else. That's something different entirely. I would never expose myself. All right. I got some food in me. I got some sugar. I got some crackers. We're good. Let's keep going. Candy 15. The rain is coming down in sheets. It rains just seldom enough on this idyllic world that most of its inhabitants are conditioned to leave their homes without umbrellas, and today they're paying for it. No, that's a bad idea, so I'm gonna do my damnedest that never happens. by deliberately not doing it. The press clamors at the edge of the funeral procession, getting soaked to the bone and or exoskeleton. John ducks his head away from the flash of cameras, still uncomfortable with his position among the pallbearers. He didn't know Dirk that well, but he couldn't refuse a direct request from a grieving bro. He ventures a glance at Dave, who is at the front of the line carrying a smaller casket containing Dirk's decapitated head. You wouldn't put it in the same one? The actual casket is unusually heavy, not just because Jane insisted on having it crafted from the finest quality timber on the planet, but also because for some unfathomable reason, Dirk is going to be buried with every single one of his shitty anime swords. It would be absurd were it not so tragic, and possibly also predictable. Gamzee fumbles with his corner of the casket when it comes time to set it down in the cathedral, upsets the balance of the whole thing, and sends it careening down so hard that the nose of it crashes right through the stage. Oops, motherfuckers.
Oops! It's fine, Gams. Accidents happen.
John presses his mouth into a flat line. He looks at Dirk's casket, sitting diagonally in a hole in the floor and popped about 13% of the way open. A few shitty swords seem to have made a valiant effort to escape, but didn't quite make it all the way. He looks at Dave, who appears even more stoked than usual, with his wet hair plastered to his forehead. He looks at Roxy, who is staring at the floor, rather beside herself in grief. Then, finally, he looks back to Gamzee, who offers two dubiously sympathetic whoops in response. Today is not the day to push it, he thinks to himself. He forces a smile, kisses Roxy on the cheek, and goes to take his seat in the front row of the pews. At the back of the nave, devastated fans of Rumble into Pumpkin Patch are trying to force their way inside, past the barrier of reporters. Jane drags Jake off by the wrist to deal with them as Roxy approaches the pulpit, looking miserably ghost-like in her violet mourning clothes.
Hey, thanks everyone for joining me today.
She folds her hands in front of her. Her earrings light up as the reporters at the back take about 6 million pictures of her tear-stained face. She sniffs, then hawks back a whole mouthful of snot. The sound is very much in contrast with the delicate feminine manner with which she tugs a tissue out of her modest cleavage in order to dab her eyes.
Well, now that I'm up here, it's like, I don't know, I have no idea what to say.
Of course she doesn't. Dirk was her first BFF, her first love, and at one time, the only other human being left on Earth. She rolls her wet tissue between her fingers.
And I guess that's because there is nothing to say. There's no words to describe how I felt about Dirk Strider, and even though he left a note that had hella words in it, they might as well have been saying nothing. Which is just like Dirk, I guess, to leave us with a load of bullshit and no idea why he did what he did. So I'm just gonna say that. I'm glad that he was in my life, and give it over to someone who's way more eloquent than me.
Dave gets to his feet, unwinding his fingers from Jade's. He walks to the pulpit with his usual smoothness, but pauses beneath the giant stained glass window to run the heel of his palm under his shades. The camera bulbs start clacking away like crazy. John whirls around in his seat to glare at the reporters, putting a finger to his mouth to shush them. He watches a tiny white carapace chest guy sheepishly press the flash button on his camera as quietly as possible. It takes Dave a moment to gather himself when he reaches the lectern, but when he speaks, his voice is steady and even. Hey guys, I want to apologize in advance because this is about to get a little real. Realer than that 3/4 of a corpse I'm standing about 2 feet from right now. I mean, I totally hate to ruin everyone's mood on a day where we gather to think deep thoughts about how one of us just went and fucking off themselves. Not like we're gonna be stumbling through our lives constantly experiencing intrusive thoughts about this specific event or anything. If anyone needs to pause it, feel free, please. Or anyone needs to mute, please. Not like we're going to be stumbling through our lives constantly experiencing intrusive thoughts about like specific event or anything. Hey, remember what our good pal Dirk looked like with no head? PR to forget since getting decapitated was like his third favorite hobby. So it's not so much the body that's the problem, but the sort of existential realization of finality, I guess. Though I ain't gonna lie, the body's starting to stink. Sorry, all the shit I just said was a load of absolute bull. Bull meant to deflect some of the fact that I'm pretty shook about this. I used to do that a lot, but basically every time I open my mouth. Most of you know this, but I had a kind of shitty childhood. I'm not gonna go to details, but long story short, it was technically my good old bro dad here's fault. Not the specific version of him. The one I grew up with he was... Dave hesitates. His voice might be cracking, but it's subtle. He was just an absolute bastard, no offense to the dead. Yeah, okay, sure, he taught me a ton of shit that if we're being generous was in theory useful, but he didn't give a single solitary shit about raising a well-adjusted kid. Or raising a kid in general. I was more like his disciple, and all that mattered was his grand designer, what the fuck ever. And I know Dirk struggled with, the idea that he could eventually become that kind of person, or even worse, that he was somehow cosmically fated to become that person no matter what he wanted or did to prevent it. That's probably how he managed to boost off himself in the first place, considering how the mechanics of God tier works. Maybe he'd been struggling with that the whole time we've been here on Earthsea. Who knows with him? He was always so inside his own head, I can't even imagine what insane train of thought led him to decide that this was his only option. But I don't think he'd want us beating ourselves up about it, or torturing ourselves trying to figure out what it fucking meant. Especially Jake, Jane, and Roxy. He loved you guys and wouldn't do anything to hurt you. Well, not intentionally, I mean. Anyway, all that shit about my bro, I'm over that. Like, as much as you can get over it. There's a subconscious response to certain stimuli you can't exactly rewire, but the conscious part of my brain is all like, shit, dude, I feel great. What the fuck is hypervigilance? I love being alive and having all these friends who care about me and don't beat the shit out of me every day of my life, etc. And part of that's because I don't get to be friends with Dirk. It was great getting to know this rad version of my childhood garden who wasn't complete batshit insane, and just like chill with him, shoot the shit and freestyle or debate dumb crap with it, without it being a federal fucking issue. And more than that, he treated me like I was on the level with him. He let me give him shit for being a pretentious blowhard every day of his life, which I did. But despite that, I looked up to him the way I always felt like I should have been looking up to my bro. The way I wanted to look up to my bro, but couldn't. Dirk taught me so much shit I didn't know I needed from him. I mean, picking up Dirk's opinions was unavoidable if you ever hung out with him, but considering he never shut his fucking mouth. But I'm glad he didn't. He taught me about combat, philosophy, life, and I'm sure had he not killed himself the literal day I was finally going to ask him romantic advice, he would have taught me about love too. So in the end, I really got no idea how the fuck I'm supposed to feel right now. But that's probably okay, right? Like, it's okay to not know how to feel when someone dies. It's okay to not have all the answers. I wish Dirk was still alive so I could tell him that. But he's not. So Dave takes a deep shuddering breath, and actually takes off his shades to wipe away the tears that are pooling on his eyelashes. I guess that's all they've got to say about that. Jake is openly weeping by the time the speech is over, his face buried in Jane's breasts. She's remarkably composed, looking more irritated than anything that her gentleman companion is getting snot all over her attractively tailored power suit. Dave leaves the stage, face turned away from the glare of the camera lights, and Roxy takes her place at the pulpit once again.
Anyone else have a eulogy that they like to give? I think the best way we can honor Dirk's memory at this point is to spew an untold number of words into the void. As many as we fucking can.
Rose, who had been staring off into space with a peculiar expression on her face during Dave's speech, snaps to attention. She brushes Kanaya's hand off her lap and goes to stand, but is interrupted by the horrible squelching sound of Gamzee lumbering to his feet in his wet, oversized boots. He saunters up to the pulpit with the precise lazy gait of one who's grown far too comfortable with a lifelong tendency of unwittingly inspiring others' contempt, and braces his arms on the other side of the lectern. If inside this church there were an adjacent room full of wet dogs eating garbage, everyone in attendance would run to that room immediately to escape the stench emanating from this smiling clown. Suddenly, his expression distorts to become something which can only be described as a leer.
What's up on this most righteous and frowny of days, my bitches?
Oh my god, no one wants to hear anything you have to say, Gamzee.
You still got it, brother. My motherfucker of comedy's in the prey block. That mirthful noise you holler still slaps my man.
It's not a fucking joke. Gamzee clears his throat quite loudly and abruptly, sending ear-shattering echoes throughout the church. It sounds like someone just threw a toilet in a wood chipper.
Ninjas and gentle hoes, we gather up at this shrine of worship to whatever false idols or messiahs these homies get their devotion on for. But that's okay. Because we're motherfucking unified today, no matter what our bad and different beliefs say at us to our piety pains. We come in celebration of life and death, of the one and only, a truly choice piece of man bitch what whom I hardly ever knew, the Dirkster. Boo! Then you might be up and wondering, what place have I got all orating on the subject of the legend of this fine fellow? That's a good question, my mirthful brothers. I may not be all up and learned about his life, but I've got deep spiritual connections to his death. It just so happens that fate brought me to his doorstep on the very day that he went and motherfucking choked it off at the neck. One of the most spiritually awakening moments of my life. In such a short time, he taught me so much. This was no coincidence. It was a higher power guiding my path. These powers would make sure that I would be there to receive a great warrior's final message and relay it to you on this dark and dreary day of death. Honk!
The clown thrusts his hand somewhere beneath the waistband of his pants and starts obscenely rooting around. He retrieves a piece of paper, crumpled and soaked from the rain outside, and attempts to smooth it out over the lectern. The wet paper breaks apart immediately beneath his oafish clown paws.
Oh, shiz, I guess I've got to up and wing it.
Dirk's close friends in the audience look on with anxious anticipation, eager to hear whatever important message Dirk had apparently handed down to Gamzee to be passed on. John can't seem to find that optimism himself. Gamzee draws a big, fat breath and begins his speech.
You ever wake up and sit down to drop a fat one into the load gaper, but your flesh body just ain't ready to go and duke it out yet?
The clown's words hang heavily in the air. He scans the crowd, silent for an uncomfortable while, as if his question weren't rhetorical and he were expecting an answer that will never come.
That's what life was like for the D-Man. A man born with a purpose, a plan, but the wicked ways of this world stole that away from him.
It goes on like that. We're gonna fucking cut all that out, apparently. It goes on like this for some time. Members of the audience ride out the clown's eulogy with an admirable sense of grit and determination. Oh, they're filled with it. Though visibly reacting with full-body spasms every time the preacher issues another punctuating honk or deeply inappropriate turn of phrase. Karkat continues heckling him all throughout, and at one point delivers no less than 30 uninterrupted instances of "fuck you" throughout most of the eulogy. Roxy continues attempting to urge others to settle down and give him a chance, based on the many endorsements she's heard of his spiritual oration skills. But even she gives up on this effort when one especially boisterous honk results in Gamzee knocking over the lectern entirely, which he does not bother to pick up. Instead, he proceeds with his eulogy as if nothing happened while openly scratching an inch beneath his codpiece. At this point, Dave has had enough and exits the church. Karkat follows him. Gamzee inhales deeply, preparing to launch into what quite possibly will be the full body of his speech, rather than one or two mercifully concluding remarks. Roxy stands up and begins clapping loudly to bring a heroic end to the elocutionary horror show.
Wow, wasn't that great, folks? Wow, I knew this guy wouldn't let us down. Bravo! Damn, I feel like if I never heard another word this guy ever said, that'd be fine, because that was all just so perfect. Anything more will only dampen this perfect memory he gave us. Take up Al Gamzee and then, oh yeah, the exit's that way. Honk.
She nudges Jake.
Hey, dude, can you get up there and say something else like a palate cleanser?
Girl,
Who's your best bro? Come on, man. Surely you got something in your heart to say.
Okay.
Hey, everybody, it's Jake's turn. He's got a few words he'd like to say about our dear departed buddy.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
I like that just John's having fucking none of it. John mutters a few imprecations under his breath and gets up before Jake can take the stage. He's concerned about Dave and heads for the exit, beating Gamzee there easily. Gamzee's strolling so leisurely, in fact, he's barely even made it off the stage yet. John pushes out into the churchyard. The rain has receded into a light drizzle, which is nice. Much less like being trapped in a high-pressure shower and more like being sprayed with a plant mister. He looks around the largely decorative graveyard and spots Dave and Karkat huddled together beneath an evenly churchyard walls. John begins to move towards them, but stops when he notices how close together they're standing. Dave's got his suit jacket unbuttoned and pulled over Karkat's head to shield him from the rain. Karkat's the one talking, his caterpillar eyebrows furrowed, but his gaze soft. Whatever he's saying makes Dave turn his face away, but Karkat winds a hand in his shirt and tugs him in, forces him to make eye contact. They both go still, seeming to finally realize how close their faces have gotten, how Karkat's fingers are brushed down the length of Dave's torso. Dave dips down so that their noses are bumping. Karkat's eyes are so wide, it's amazing they don't pop out. For a moment, it looks like they're going to... John sneezes. Dave and Karkat jump apart like opposing magnets. Oops.
Hey, guys.
Damn it, John! John waves dopily and hopes that he doesn't look as buffoonish and mortified as he feels. Dave and Karkat are still staring at each other from a corner of their eyes, warily. Something silent and tense passes between them. They make a quick recovery. Hey, I see that even you couldn't bear Gibbs' asinine, brutal, and 100% non-consensual assault on our listen creators, and also the basic decency which sapient beings apparently owe to one another on this planet.
No, actually I listened to the entire thing. I have no idea why I did that. Now I have this whole memory in my head that I could have definitely lived without. I was just worried because you didn't come back. Dave, are you okay?
Dave glances at Karkat again. He smiles. It's a sad smile, but it's there. Yeah. Well, no, but it's okay to not be okay about this specific thing, I think. So for once, I think I'm having, like, a totally unironically normal emotional reaction to the thing, which loops around back to being okay. In fact, I'm probably the okayest I've ever been, objectively.
Are you sure?
That was half 100 words to express a 3-letter sentiment. I'd say he's doing fine.
Because I was thinking...
John chews the inside of his mouth and blinks down at his hands. Now that he's paused to think a little, what he's about to offer is a pretty weird way to console a friend after the death of a loved one.
Do you want me to go back?
Dave quirks an eyebrow. Go back?
With my recon powers. I could go back and stop him.
Dude. Dave says, at the same time that Karkat shouts, John!
What?
Do you not have an inch of goddamn sense in that thick fucking skull of yours?
What?
John, come on, what are my powers?
Time travel?
So you don't think I would have already done that if I thought it was a good idea?
Well, okay, yeah, obviously. But if you did do it, we wouldn't even know right now because it would have just made a new timeline where Dirk didn't kill himself. That's how time travel works, right?
Well, actually... Dave makes a wavy hand gesture that implies he's about to jump into a rant about causality or whatever. John cuts him off.
But if I retcon it, then it's like it never even happened. We wouldn't have this horrible funeral at all.
I don't know, dude. That's a little fucked up, actually.
You think so?
Yeah, Dirk was a complicated guy. Dude obviously had reasons for doing what he did. If you go back and just rewrite his decision, that's like denying him his personal autonomy.
Huh. I didn't think about it that way.
John frowns. Dave opens his mouth to say something else, but he's cut off by Jade poking her head out of the church window.
Dave, Roxy's wondering where you are. Where you are.
Oh yeah, be right there.
What about you, Karkat? You coming?
Yes, God! Can't a man stand on a moist and dreary piece of religious property to help console his main bro? Jesus, fuck, God forbid we upset the carefully orchestrated funeral programming, which just featured a segment wherein a deeply unpopular clown pissed himself in front of the clamoring paparazzi.
Oh, Lord, you dumb baby. Karkat, it looks to me like you're the one third-wheeling Dave and John's poignant bro times. So why don't you get your butt on over here?
Ugh, fine! Karkat stumps back toward the church, bickering with Jade his way across the graveyard. Dave adjusts his shades and puts a hand on John's shoulder. John, I get what you're trying to do, but it's okay, dude. I'm okay. John nods, swallowing hard. His throat is dry all of a sudden. Dave turns and walks back into the church. Once John is absolutely sure Dave is gone, he closes his eyes, breathes in deep through the nose, and raises both his hands. Nothing happens. John cracks one eye open. It's been a while since he tried to do, well, anything more complicated than going out for dinner, to be honest. Has he just forgotten how to invoke his game powers? Do the Wendy thing, he thinks to himself. A brisk breeze howls through the graveyard, rustling some leaves off a nearby tree. Nope, that's all good. Do the retcon thing? He thinks much, much harder than he thought about doing the last thing. Still nothing.
That's weird. It was working just the other day.
He stares at his hand so hard that his head starts to hurt. So hard that he doesn't hear the footsteps sloshing through the wet grass behind him. When Roxy taps him on the shoulder, he yelps and shoots 6 feet up into the air.
Oh man, John, it's just me.
John spins around to greet her. He hides his hands behind his back like he was doing something bad with them. Which he guesses he was, kind of. Roxy shields her eyes against the rain and laughs.
Doing okay up there, B? I'm fine. Wait, B?
John lands softly, close enough for Roxy that she can slide a hand up his arm.
Yeah, short for babe. 'Cause you're my babe, B. Oh, right.
John feels himself flush and runs an awkward hand through his hair. He's still a little embarrassed to show affection in public places like this. He slips a hand into the small of Roxy's back and feels a pang of guilt about what he saw transpire between Dave and Karkat earlier.
Is Dave okay? Yeah, I guess. Are you okay?
Yeah. Her gaze gets distant as she stares at something over John's shoulder. Whatever she's thinking about, it tugs a soft smile across her face.
Yeah. Actually, I'm more than okay. 'Cause I've been thinking. Oh?
Roxy starts dancing her fingers up John's chest.
About you and me, and this.
She bops him on the nose.
Hey, John, we should get hitched.
John stares at where Roxy's finger is still pressing down on his nose and goes a little cross-eyed as his brain tries to process what she just said.
What?
What? John, come on. Marry me.
Like,
John looks around the graveyard nervously.
right now?
Oh, totes. We're already at the church and everything.
Oh my god. Oh my god. John, oh my god, are you serious?
Roxy starts laughing so hard she has to wipe away a tear. She leans in to give John a quick, chaste kiss on the lips.
No, LO. John, you take everything so literally. It's fucking adorbs.
Is that why you want to marry me?
Yeah, I'm off the charts with all my jokes and shit, and I got even all that out. With this, huge helping of clueless nerd.
After a funeral, this is not the right time for this.
Roxy. Okay, but let's be serious here a moment. I actually do love that you're so earnest. It's cute as fuck, and also, I always know where I stand with you.
Roxy.
Besides, this whole thing with Dirk, it's made me realize that even though we're immortal, we're not necessarily gonna live forever. Life's too short not to spend every moment with the one you love.
That word hits John like a sucker punch to the gut. He goes breathless with shock, adrenaline pumping through him, his blood rushing in his ears. When he speaks, his voice is hoarse.
You love me?
Yeah, John, I love you. Want to marry you and spend the rest of my life with you and pop out a bunch of cute little buck-toothed babies with you.
Oh, wow, Roxy, that's a lot.
Well, you don't gotta answer right now. Just know what's on the table.
He doesn't know what to think. He so doesn't know what to think that he's spiraling inside his head, shaking all over, damp with sweat. Something about this doesn't feel right? Just a few weeks ago, Roxy was happy with Calliope, and now she wants to have his babies? John feels like it's only been a couple of weeks? John feels like he's missing something important here, like he went for a bathroom break during the part of the movie where the plot twist happens. He should give Roxy some time, get himself some space. It's all happened so fast that it's suffocating. On the other hand, isn't that how love's supposed to feel? Like a quick plunge into cold water, a feeling that grows unexamined and then gets so big that the realization washes over you like a wave? Roxy's unbearably beautiful, with moisture clinging to her eyelashes, and a smile that she's only smiling because of how much she likes him. She likes him so much that she wants to be around him every single day. John's stomach feels like it's doing pirouettes. His hands come up and around Roxy's shoulders and keep going until he's cupping her face in both hands. He starts giggling.
Okay, let's do it.
Roxy waggles her eyebrows.
Oh, you want to do it?
Yeah, yeah, that too. But I meant about the getting married thing. Let's do that. Let's totally get married.
Roxy practically attacks John's mouth. She's so excited. John shuts his eyes and kisses her back, still giddy and laughing against her lips. She kisses him until they're both breathless, then pulls back so that she can gaze at him with glittering eyes.
OMG, we're gonna be so freaking happy.
This is not the right time for this. You're at a funeral for your fucking for your friend. All right.
Hey, Terezi, guess where I am right now? Your human wedding. Considering that humans are the only species on Earth see with the concept of weddings, technically all weddings are human weddings. So there's really no reason to qualify it like that, Terezi. When did you get so hung up on semantics? When I became a real adult? Speaking of which, no, I am not at my human wedding. That was months ago.
Time skip. Okay.
What? You forgot. I thought you said you'd try to make it back in time for it. John, I talked to you yesterday. Wow, I knew time moved differently out there than it does here, but that's really something else. It's almost been 6 months for me. Okay, well, in that case, I guess I can forgive you for missing my wedding. You can do that if you want, but I never actually asked for your forgiveness. And I have no intention of apologizing. It's not me you need to apologize to. Everyone really wanted to see you. Kanaya, Dave, and Karkat have all asked about you like a zillion times. Really? A zillion. Okay, I'm obviously exaggerating for effect, but they've asked a lot. Karkat says you've been ignoring his messages for literally years at this point. Actually, now that I'm thinking about it, why am I the only one you ever answer? I mean, we weren't even that close, were we? Not like you were with him. Not like you were with him. Don't overthink it, Egbert. You were just the most annoying about being ghosted. Far too annoying to ignore. Thanks, Terezi. I'll have that one put on my tombstone. Yes, please do. Immortalize my peerless, brutal dunkings. I get the impression that everyone is going way too easy on you in my absence. Oh yeah, it's seriously horrible. I'm suffering under all the positive attention from my caring friends. So, how was your default cultural pair mating event? My wedding? Good, I guess? Really good, actually. You should have seen Roxy. She was so beautiful in her dress. I mean, there were some awkward patches, but it was mostly okay. Awkward patches? Like what? Was Gamgee there? Yeah. But he wasn't that bad for once. He mostly just hung out by the punch and tried to touch Jake's ass.
Jake, oh god. Okay, see, the worst part was when Roxy had to throw the bouquet, right? Jane and Jake are kinda, together now. Oh god! And she basically ordered Jake to catch the bouquet, or else. I was seriously afraid for him, and then he didn't even catch it. Why does she want it so bad? Is it edible? Whoever catches the bouquet is the next couple to get married. Huh? Is that the law in human culture? Oh no, there's no law. Then what sort of binding contract is surrounding the bouquet to make it so desirable? None, it's just a thing humans do for fun. So it's a superstition. I'd call it more of a tradition, although in the case of Jane and Jake, superstition might be a more appropriate word. The story has a lot of extraneous details. You're really bad at gossiping. Do you know that, John? Get to the juicy bits. Who caught the bouquet? Well, it was Jade. Jade, Dave, and Carcat. All three of them? Does that mean... Yeah, they're all dating. Or rather, Jade is dating them both. Dave and Carcat haven't exactly figured things out yet. And as much as I love Jade, I don't actually think she's helped matters by putting herself in the middle of it. Somehow that doesn't seem right. I know, and that's why it was so messed up that Jade caught the bouquet. Now I have to pretend to laugh and think it's funny when she makes jokes about being the next to tie the knot. Wow, did she really go for the double entendre? What? Fucking hell. Fucking hell. What? What? What do you mean? Never mind. Anyway, sounds like a tough life, Egbert. Har har. Okay, you're right. Things are pretty good right now if that's the worst thing I have to complain about. Things will probably work out with those three anyway. Things always work out between old friends. We've all known each other for too long for anything to cause a permanent rift. Ooh, punch my mic. Apologize. So, if you're not at your human wedding right now, where are you? Huh? Oh my god, are you serious? You have the memory of a cuttlefish. You opened this conversation by asking me to guess where you are right now. Oh, I'm at the hospital. Are you bleeding? What the hell, Terezi? No, I'm not fucking bleeding. Oh, that's unfortunate. In that case, are you okay? Yeah, actually, I'm more than okay. I'm great. I'm not here for me. It's for Roxy. She's pregnant. Pregnant? It means that we're going to have a baby. I know what pregnant means, John. It just seems kind of fast. Well, it's what happens when people get married. Are humans not capable of having sex unless they enter a contractual agreement? God damn it, Terezi. Well, aren't they? Of course they are. But marriage is what makes it special. What? Oh, nothing. You're just so... Let me guess. So dumb, blah, blah. Well, that too, but I was actually going to say adorable. What? I have to get going. It's not safe where I am. Go see your mate, John. I'll talk to you later. Yeah, okay. Take care of yourself, Terezi. I always do. Boy, howdy, it's just a bunch of blue! It's just a bunch of blue! Hey, Terezi, I have something to tell you. You're not going to believe it. I already heard about how Jane is dating both Jake and Gamzee, and unfortunately, I do believe it. I definitely could have lived without seeing the visual evidence, however. No, wait, how do you know about that? I lied about you being more annoying than Carcat. Carcat is still the most astonishingly annoying person I know. Oh, so you talked to him? And Dave? Just for a bit. This was an incredibly hot piece of gossip, and I couldn't trust you to deliver it with the air of gravitas it deserved. That's probably true. The whole Jake, Jane, Gamzee thing is freaking me out, actually. I mean, they're technically my parents, and a version of Jane was literally my nana, and now she's having sex with Gamzee. Look, never mind, I don't even want to think about it. I hope you haven't seen the picture Dave took. Dave, it's a picture? Wait, never mind. I don't want to know, and I definitely don't want to see it. Very well, your loss. It certainly is something to behold, though, I must say. Whatever. So what do you think? So what did you think, talking to Dave and Carcat? Did they seem... happy? Nope. Oh my god, I know, right? The whole thing is such a mess. It's hard to be in the same room with them these days. I don't even know the full story because Dave won't talk to me about it anymore, and Jade seems to think that everything's going just fine. Oh, excuse me, fucking hell. I eat and then my fucking stomach starts... Carcat had some choice words to say about Jade's lackluster blackrum conduct. So, he doesn't think the situation is great either? No. Jade is definitely not in hate with him, and it shows. Yeah, Jade doesn't exactly have a whole lot of hate inside her. In fact, it's probably the opposite. I think she was alone for so long that it's like she stored up this huge reservoir of love and she has no idea how to put a dam on it. I think she means well, and in most ways she's really smart, but socially speaking, I think she might be kind of an idiot. That's putting it lightly. How does Carcat feel? He's not caligenous for her either. If I had to give my assessment of what's grown between them from my brief observation of the situation, I describe it as resentment. Oh no. Resentment can be fine in a short-term black affair if the goal is to just fill pails and avoid culling. But a sustained romantic rivalry, it will always spell ruin. Just like in a casual relationship, how it's important for you to be able to communicate with your kismesis. Really?
Of course! A true cosmesis is just as much your life partner as your mate's Brit is.
Huh. I had no idea.
Not to be culturally insensitive, but I thought it was just like you meet up every once in a while and do like hate makeouts. John, you are being extremely culturally insensitive. Sorry. You can't just say not to be something and then go ahead and be exactly that. It is automatically problematic.
I'm just asking questions.
Xenophobic questions, it would seem.
Man, not you two.
To what?
Pointing out stuff that's xenophobic all the time, but in a way where you probably don't even mean it?
Don't even mean it. Why wouldn't I mean it? Is cultural sensitivity a joke to you?
All I'm getting at is, you've been talking to Dave a lot, haven't you?
I keep my correspondence with Strider well within reasonable parameters, just like I do with you. To be honest, much less than you. Who even has the time for the nonsense of cool kids these days?
Time?
You've got nothing but time, apparently, flying around out there for God knows how much longer. Why don't you just give it a rest already and come back? I cannot rest while the mission remains incomplete. You know this.
Seriously, it's beautiful back here on Earthsea, Terezi. So peaceful and harmonious. You should come check it out sometime.
I'll pass. Anyway, as I was saying, just like with human romantic relationships, there are all kinds of vicissitudes. Wow, you changed the subject back so fast, I think I got whiplash. Yes, some kismesis relationships are of the nature you described, but not all of them. The point of a kismesis is not just to make you annoyed or even angry. They should push you to better yourself. They should shine a light on things about yourself you would otherwise ignore or deny.
Huh. Is that why...
Why what?
Is that why you're so determined to find her? It is, isn't it?
No, Vriska and I were... I can't explain it. It's just not as simple as you're making it out to be.
Alright.
Besides, between us, things were always so... weird? Dramatic! And I think I've cosmically had my fill of dramatic black relationships for a long time. If I were ever to do a black rom again, it would have to be low-key. You know, gentle teasing, vaguely antagonistic feelings jams. Someone who I could both torment and have honest conversation with.
When you put it that way, I guess maybe it doesn't sound so bad.
Thank you for your cultural sensitivity. I have high hopes for you, Egbert. One day I hope to be able to introduce you to friends and say, this is John. He is not xenophobic.
Oh yeah? Well, one day I hope to introduce you to people and say, hi, this is Terezi. She doesn't suck shit.
Cheesy Pete's, John. Oh, boy. Candy 17. How many are in Candy again? 41? 41. Fucking hell, we're not even halfway! 3 months later, John is still thinking about his last conversation with Terezi. It's kind of impossible not to, when Rose and Kanais keep saying the name Vriska every 5 minutes. He really thought they were done hearing about Vriska all the time, but apparently Rose and Kanai were intent on breathing new life into the tradition. Vriska, don't show on your chair's dinner tray. Darling, she is only a grub. She hasn't yet grown her oral canals. Yes, but I believe strongly that we should get in the habit of speaking to her like an adult. It will be good for her social development. Is that how your mother raised you? I would have loved it if my mother spoke more frankly with me, but she was, let's say, a rather awkward person. No offense, Roxy.
Oh, my none's aching. I can't even imagine all the ways I'd fuck up a kid in a timeline where I didn't sort out my drinking, to be honest.
Oh, you weren't awful. I just have... How do you always put it, dear? A penchant for melodrama. Well, yeah, your dad made
sure you got some of himself in you.
I suppose he did. Ugh, fucking... My voice is torn up from talking like Terezi. And then everyone in the room observes a moment of silence for their dear departed friend, Dirk Strider. Except for John, who takes advantage of the solemn distraction to actually tap at his phone. He'd sent Terezi a text an hour ago, when Roxy was fixing her makeup in her compact. He's not sure why he feels the need to hide the fact he's talking to her. It's not like there's anything untoward about what he's doing, just texting an old friend. What's wrong with that? Nothing at all, he thinks, as he closely monitors his silent praying wife, ready to stash the phone in his pocket the moment she shows the slightest sign of movement. She lifts her head to speak. He's like Houdini with that phone.
Damn, I still can't believe Dirk's gone, though.
Yes, it was so sudden. But the best we can do to honor him is simply to move on with our lives. I'm sure it's what he would have wanted.
Huh?
John shoots Rose a weird look. She smiles back benignly, then goes to collect her troll daughter from her booster seat. She holds baby Vriska close to her chest and leans over to give Kanaya a kiss on the cheek. The precious grub is framed between them, and the two wives are ringed in a halo of pale light at the peak of this magical moment. It should be a beautiful image, but something about it roils John's gut. Rose sits back down, cradles Vriska in one arm, and begins to unbutton the top of her shirt with the other. John instinctively finds something else to look at. Anything. His fidgeting hands will do. Have you two thought about what to name your grubs?
It's just one grub, lol.
Oh, that's a relief. I've actually been very worried about your well-being considering how human grubs are born.
Why?
Well, don't they have to beat their way out of the womb? Kanaya? So Karka told me. Karka gets all his information on humanity from the movies, and Dave, which is even worse than the movies.
Wait a fucking minute. What movies are they watching?
Nothing too graphically misleading, I suspect. I equally suspect that any time there's a human birthing moment on camera, Karka probably turns away, too disgusted to watch, while Dave continues filling his ear with more lies about human biology.
Well.
And then I was given inaccurate information? Yes. Whew. If that were true, how would our species have survived? We would have had a 100% maternal mortality rate during childbirth. Yes, I forgot how primitive medical technology was on your planet. Then how are humans born? Use your head for a moment, darling. Oh, I see.
LMAO.
I'm sorry, John. All this girl talk must be making you uncomfortable.
Can't we change the subject to something less gross and weird? Pfft, wuss. So, is Vriska really the name you're going with?
Kanaya gives John an inquisitive, wide-eyed look, as if there could be no conceivable reason for someone to ask this question. Yes, of course.
Why would we change her name when she's nearly a year old?
Well, it's not like it would hurt her or anything. Didn't Kanaya just say she doesn't have ears yet?
OMG, John, don't be rude.
I'm not trying to be rude. I just think it's a little weird.
I don't see why. I mean, she is practically a clone of Vriska.
Yeah, Kanaya, I know. That's why it's weird.
I appreciate your concerns, John, but it's not that weird to name a child after an important figure from your youth. What were you thinking of naming your own child?
John hesitates, adjusts his glasses for want of something to do with his hands. This is a conversation he's been dragging his heels on for months. Back when Roxy first got pregnant, it was all they talked about. But now that she's so close to the dude, all the subject does is make his pulse go shaky.
Harry Anderson, Egbert.
Roxy, I didn't think we were decided on that.
I don't know, you seem peace out on it.
He was. What's bugging him about it is that Roxy didn't seem to have any suggestions of her own. Rose stops breastfeeding Vriska, trying to pop my back. I'm getting tight. And hands her off to Kanaya. She comes to sit beside John, setting a hand on his knee. She speaks kindly.
Wasn't it the guy from Night Court?
Yeah, which was
a show that reminds you of your father. I think that in this new world we've created, it's important to carry the torch of what we've left behind us. We must name the next generation for the fallen heroes that we admire.
Wait, we admire Vriska now?
It's true that Vriska was a controversial figure even at the best of times, but she did defeat Lord English, John.
This remark seems to cure John of his shaky pulse problem, if only because for a moment his heart seems to stop beating altogether. It shocks him in a way that causes him to feel the planet turning under his feet. He whips his head to look up at Rose intently. She seems alert. Her gaze is precise. She doesn't seem ill or off or confused at all.
No, she didn't? Vriska didn't defeat Lord English.
Rose doesn't say anything. No one says anything.
Rose, no one knows what happened to Lord English.
Of course we do. Vriska used the Juju and her accompanying ghost army to defeat him. Why else would we be here?
I don't think that's what actually happened, though.
Then what did happen, John?
I just said no one knows. Rose, come on. You're the one who told me all this.
I told you what?
About a year ago, you were feeling bad and asked me to come over. And then you gave me this big speech about canon and being, like, outside canon and not canon and other shit like timelines and fate and my anime dreams.
That's all in the past, John. Everything worked out in the end. Why are you getting so upset about this?
You gave me a list of instructions and told me that I had to use my retcon powers to go back to a very specific point in time to defeat Lord English when he was still just a kid. And you told me that I had to do this to validate the sequence of reality. But I didn't. I was all ready to go. I thought I was going to die, honestly. But then you...
John swivels around to point a finger at his wife. It comes across as more accusatory than he means it to be.
Roxy, you and Calliope told me that I had a choice. And I made my choice, which is why I ended up staying. But did it really all work out in the end? If I didn't stop Lord English, then are we even really here at all?
The three gals in the room exchange a series of concerned glances. Do they truly think he's crazy? Are they hiding something from him? John can feel himself trembling. It's not possible that he's remembering this wrong, is he? It can't be. If he presses his eyes shut, he can still see the lines of the black hole cracking space apart around him. It seemed like such a big deal at the time, and then suddenly it felt like nothing at all. Why? Roxy leans over and sets a cool hand on John's forehead.
You doing okay there, babe?
I'm fine!
You're the one's not doing okay, he nearly shouts, but then realizes it's just going to make him sound crazier than he already does. He brushes Roxy's hand away and stands abruptly, looking woozy and sweating at the temples. His skin is tight and clammy, too hot and too cold all at once.
I need some fresh air.
Want me to come with you?
No! I mean, no. I need a moment alone. I think I'm just getting those, new dad jitters. That must be it.
Oh, of course it makes sense. Take care of yourself, hon.
John grabs his coat and sprints out of the hive. He vaults into the air and follows the breeze up, coasting over the tree line and out of the troll suburb that Kanaya and Rose have made their home in. Furiously, he begins typing on his phone. Tracy, I know that you've got important stuff to do out there in Paradox Space, but I really need to hear from you. On my side, it's been months since we last talked, and I can't figure it out if it's because I said something wrong or if it's because something terrible happened to you. Things here on Earth are... John shuts his eyes for a moment and takes a deep breath. The breeze that rattles over the floor seems foul somehow, stale, like air that's been recycled multiple times over. They're not great. I mean, on the surface, everything is fantastic. Everyone's so happy, and it finally seems like we're all making real progress as adults. But at the same time, everyone is also acting crazy. I feel like I'm the only sane person left in this entire universe. I'm the only one who seems to care about anything. I mean, care about anything bigger. Bigger than, like, what's the name of a baby, or who's stuck in a terrible relationship with who. Oh my god, this probably sounds so pathetic. Tarzi, I'm seriously pathetic. It's so selfish of me to even be messaging you at all. I've got a beautiful wife who loves me, but it's not enough. I can't even talk to her about what we're going to name our stupid kid without it turning into some weird thing where she just goes along with whatever I want. Even when all I want is for her to want something different than what I want. Okay, wait. I take that back. Our kid's not stupid. Well, okay, he hasn't been born yet, so maybe he'll turn out to be stupid eventually, but what do I know? Anyway, the point is, I'm just popping off on random things at people who don't deserve it because I'm really upset right now. Not at anyone in particular. Probably just to myself. Like, wow, can you believe how shitty I'm being right now? You could be dead for all I know. Here I am begging for your attention, even though my life is perfect. But I don't know who else I can talk to. Even Rose is acting weird all of a sudden. I guess what I'm trying to say is, you're the only thing that still makes sense to me, Terezi. Right now, I just really need you. Please come make some sense at me. John notices his fingers are shaking. He makes a conscious effort to keep them still and exhales. Come make some sense at me? Good lord, he's got to pull it together before he blurts out something really embarrassing. He braces himself as if splashing an imaginary glass of cold water in his own face and reminds himself once again that he has a wonderful life, a perfect life, he's happy, goddammit. He's about to pocket his phone when he catches some movement at the bottom corner of the screen. It's an indication that someone is typing. He stops breathing until the text actually appears. Okay, loser, tell me what happened this time. Jane may have stepped... Fucking... Great. Cool, rad. All right, fuck it. We're 4 minutes out. I don't think I can finish this in 4 minutes. I cannot finish this in 4 minutes. That's a fucking novel. All right. We're gonna call it there. When they accidentally gaslight. Yeah, fucking John just got gaslit to hell in back with that one. Well, that was, we got through 5 pieces of this motherfucker to get to this point. Damn it. I just need more of that John Roxy. They're so fucking cute. Anyway, I'm gonna call the stream there. My voice is very tired, and I have D&D tonight, so I need to rest it up a little bit before I get to doing that. Where I get to make funny voices at my players. Yeah, so that's it for the stream, everybody. If you're watching this VOD on YouTube, I hope you liked it. If you did, make sure you click the like button and subscribe to my channel. I have new videos that come up every Monday, almost every Monday and Wednesday at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. My Twitch channel, there's a link down in the description where you can see my schedule and everything like that. Come join, give me a follow if you can. If you can, subscribe. Please don't feel obligated like you need to, though. Just help support the channel and everything like that. But yeah, come hang out. We're doing some Night in the Woods, doing some Homestuck. I don't know what I'm doing for next week. Wait, no, Valhalla's coming out next week. I'm gonna play Valhalla next Saturday. I'm pretty sure that's the plan. I'm pretty sure Valhalla's coming out. Hang on. Assassin's Creed Valhalla. It is! It's coming out! Oh, man, I'm playing Valhalla on Saturday. Hope y'all are ready for that. We're gonna play an Assassin's Creed game. Oh, I'm excited now. I got really excited. Anyway, that's it for today, everybody. If you're watching, again, that's gonna play on YouTube. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope to see you next time. And we're gonna stop recording.